Hey everyone, Kvemi here with another Reddit story. Today's is about a woman who finds out her husband and her male best friend have fallen in love. This story is a total emotional roller coaster, detailing the fallout and the truly wild proposal she received from them. It's one of those that makes you wonder what you'd do in her shoes. Settle in, enjoy the Minecraft in the background, and let's get into it. The title is My Husband and My Closest Friend Betrayed Me, then asked me to live with them. I said yes, but couldn't keep up the lie. My male best friend and my spouse fell in love. They've been carrying on an affair for a year. Now they want all three of us to reside together and raise our children. I am absolutely losing my mind. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old, and 4 days ago, my entire existence was shattered in a way I could never have imagined. Not ever. I feel compelled to share this because I honestly feel like I'm going crazy, genuinely losing my grasp on reality. So this is how it all went down. Tuesday evening, a completely typical Tuesday, I'd prepared lasagna for dinner. My husband Ethan and I were at the dining table with our two kids, Sophie, 7, and Lucas, 5. We were discussing Lucas's upcoming T-ball practice and Sophie's school presentation. Just regular family conversation. Ethan's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen, and his face instantly transformed. The colour just drained right out. He stood up so quickly that his chair screeched across the hardwood floor. "I have to take this," he announced, then headed out to the back deck. The children didn't notice anything odd, but I certainly did, because Ethan never does that. He's always been completely present during family meals. It's his sacred rule. No phones at the table, full attention on the children. That's been our custom since Sophie was born. I tried to dismiss it, telling myself it was likely a work issue. Ethan is a senior analyst at a financial firm, so sometimes he gets urgent calls, but my gut told me something was seriously amiss. He returned in about 10 minutes. His eyes were red, as if he'd been weeping or was on the verge of tears. "Are you all right?" I inquired. He simply nodded but avoided my gaze. "Yeah, just some workplace stress." After tucking the kids into bed, I discovered him sitting in our room in the dark, perched on the edge of the bed, staring blankly ahead. "Ethan, what in the world's going on?" I asked. He looked at me, and I honestly saw a flicker of devastation in his expression. "We need to talk, but not tonight. This weekend, I promise we will talk this weekend." My heart began to pound. Those are the last words anyone ever wants to hear, aren't they? We need to talk. Everyone knows exactly what that signifies. "Just tell me now," I insisted. "Are you seeing someone else?" The question simply escaped. I still don't know why I asked it. Ethan and I had been a couple for 12 years, married for 9. We were stable. We were the pair others pointed to and called relationship goals. We rarely even argued. He didn't reply immediately, and that non-answer was all the confirmation I needed. "Oh my God," I whispered. You're cheating on me." "Sarah, it's not that simple." "Not that simple? How is sleeping with someone else not simple? Yes or no? Are you involved with another person?" "Yes," he said softly. "But it's not what you think." I felt the ground disappear beneath me. I dropped heavily onto the bed next to him. "How long?" "About a year." A year. An entire year of my life had apparently been a fabrication. "Who is she?" I asked. My voice sounded distant, like it wasn't even coming from me. Ethan was silent for a very long time. Too long. "It's not a she," he finally revealed. My mind completely froze for a moment. "What?" "It's Alex." "Alex?" "My best friend Alex. My gay best friend Alex, whom I've known since university. Alex, who was the best man at our wedding. Alex, who comes over every Saturday for breakfast. Alex, who watches our kids. Alex, the one I confide everything in. That Alex." I actually laughed. Not out of humour, but because the situation was so ludicrous, I had no other reaction. "You're kidding me. This is some kind of cruel joke." "I'm not joking, Sarah. I'm so sorry. I never intended for this to happen. Neither of us did." "But Alex is gay," I cut in. "He's been openly gay since he was 16. He dated men all through college. He's gay." "I know. I thought I was straight. I've always believed I was straight. But Sarah, I'm not. I'm pansexual. And I'm in love with him." I shot up. I felt like I was going to be sick or faint or both. "Get out," I commanded. "Sarah, please. Get out of this room, get out of this house. I can't even look at you right now." Ethan started crying. Genuine tears, but I was beyond caring. I simply couldn't care. My husband of 9 years and my best friend of 15 years had been deceiving me for a solid year. He left. I heard him quickly pack a duffel bag and walk out the front door. I sank to our bedroom floor, too stunned and numb to even cry. That was Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, I still had to get up and prepare breakfast for the kids, as if nothing was wrong. I told them Daddy had to leave unexpectedly on a business trip. Sophie asked why he hadn't said goodbye, and I quickly fabricated some excuse about it being a last-minute emergency. As soon as I dropped them at school, I called Alex. He answered on the first ring. "Sarah, don't," he started. "Don't say my name like that," I said. "Don't say anything, actually. I'm coming over." I drove to his apartment, the same place I'd visited 1,000 times, where we'd shared movies and wine and discussed every detail of our lives. The place where he'd supported me after my dad's death 2 years ago, and where I'd helped him through his awful breakup with his ex-boyfriend Tom. Alex opened the door before I could even knock. He looked just as awful as Ethan had, dark circles under his eyes, his hair dishevelled. We just stood there, staring at each other. "How could you?" I finally managed. "How could you do this to me?" "I never wanted to hurt you," he said, his voice trembling. "Sarah, you have to believe me. This is agonising for me." "You are agonising me," I countered. "You are my closest friend, my confidant, and you've been sleeping with my husband behind my back for an entire year." "It wasn't like that. It wasn't some fling, Sarah. I'm in love with him." "Oh, well, that makes it so much better," I shot back. "You're in love with him? Fantastic. Wonderful. That totally justifies destroying my entire family." "That's not fair." "Not fair? You want to discuss fairness? Was it fair to smile at me every Saturday while you were having an affair with my husband? Was it fair to let me cry on your shoulder about work stress and kid problems while you were probably texting Ethan the whole time? Was it fair to pretend to be my best friend while being the biggest liar in my life?" Alex also began to weep. Big, uncontrollable sobs, but I was finished caring about his distress. "How did it even begin?" I pressed. "I need to know. I need to understand how the two people I trusted most in the world could betray me like this." He wiped his eyes. "Last October. Remember when Ethan came to help me move some furniture into this place?" I did recall. I had stayed home with the kids, while Ethan went to assist Alex with moving a sofa and a few shelves. They had been gone for about 6 hours. I remembered thinking it took an unusually long time, but assumed they'd grabbed dinner afterward. "We were just talking," Alex continued, "about everything. About life." And he confessed that he'd been having these thoughts, these feelings about men, that he'd been repressing his whole life. He was going through this identity crisis and didn't know how to talk to you about it. He was terrified you'd leave him or judge him. "So, you decided to sleep with him instead of telling him to speak to his wife?" "No, it wasn't like that. I just listened. I told him it was okay to question things. I told him he should talk to you, and that was it. But then, a few weeks later, he texted me saying he couldn't stop thinking about our conversation. We met for coffee. Then coffee turned into more meetings. We were only talking at first, just friends. But then what?" I demanded. "Then one night in December we kissed and everything changed." I felt nauseous. December. I tried to mentally go back to December. Christmas with my parents. Lucas's 5th birthday party. Everything had seemed so normal. "Where?" I asked. "Where have you been doing this?" "Mostly here, sometimes in his car. Once or twice at a motel when we could both manage to get away." "Did you do it in my house? In my bed?" "No, God no, Sarah, never. We would never." "Oh, you have boundaries? How honourable." We stood in his living room, the same living room where I'd polished my nails on his couch just 2 weeks ago while we watched a terrible reality show. Everything looked the same, but absolutely nothing would ever be the same. "I should have told you sooner," Alex admitted. "We both should have, but we didn't know how. And the longer it went on, the harder it became. We kept saying we'd tell you next week, next month. We kept saying we needed to figure things out first. And I know that's not an excuse. I know we're awful people, but Sarah, I swear I never stopped caring about you. You're still my best friend. I am not your best friend, I stated. Best friends don't do this. You're nothing to me. You're just another person who lied to my face. I left before he could utter another word. I drove aimlessly for an hour because I couldn't go back home yet. I couldn't be in that house with all those memories that were now contaminated. My phone kept buzzing. Ethan, Alex, Ethan, Alex. I ignored every call and text. Finally, I returned home. I had to pick up the kids soon. I had to pretend everything was fine. But that night, after the kids were asleep, Ethan came back. He knocked on the door, and I almost didn't answer. But I knew this conversation had to happen eventually. I let him in. We sat in the living room like total strangers. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry, Sarah. You didn't deserve this. You've been a remarkable wife and an incredible mother, and I've ruined everything. Why? I asked. That's all I truly want to know. Why was I not enough? Was our life together not enough? It has nothing to do with you. You were always enough, more than enough. But I was lying to myself for our entire relationship. I convinced myself I was straight because that's what I was supposed to be. That's what everyone expected. My parents, my friends, society. So I fell in love with you, and I built this life with you. And it was real. All of it was real. I do love you, Sarah. I really do. Just not the way you love him. He didn't answer, which was a clear answer. So what happens now? I asked. Do you want a divorce? Are you leaving me for Alex? We want to talk to you about something, Ethan said carefully. Both of us together. But I know you're not ready for that yet. Talk to me about what? He hesitated. About a solution. A way forward where no one has to lose everything. What in the world does that even mean? Just, when you're ready. There's something we want to suggest, but only when you're prepared to listen. That was Wednesday night. Thursday, I took the day off work. I was incapable of functioning. I just sat in my house in a daze while the kids were at school. I kept looking at photos on my phone. Ethan and me on our wedding day. Alex giving a speech at our reception about how happy he was that I'd found my soulmate. Family photos from every holiday and birthday and vacation. It felt like it was all a complete lie. Not all of it. Some of it was real. But how was I supposed to distinguish which parts? My sister Maria called. She's 3 years older than me and we are extremely close. I hadn't told her anything yet because I couldn't figure out how to explain it. Hey, she said, just checking in. You've been quiet lately. Everything okay? I burst into tears. I couldn't help it. I told her absolutely everything. Are you kidding me? She said when I finished. Ethan and Alex, together for a year. I know, Sarah, that's unbelievable. That's truly insane. What are you going to do? I don't know. I can't think. I can't process this. Ethan keeps saying they want to talk to me about some sort of solution, but I have no idea what that means. You should hear them out, Maria advised. I know you don't want to. I know you probably want to never see either of them again. But you have 2 children with Ethan. You need to figure out custody and finances and all that complicated stuff. So maybe you should listen to what they have to say. She was right. As much as I wanted to simply run away from this whole ordeal, I couldn't. I had Sophie and Lucas to consider. Okay, I said. Okay, I'll talk to them. Friday morning I texted Ethan, telling him I was ready to hear whatever he wanted to say. He responded immediately, asking if he and Alex could come over that evening after the kids were at my mother's house. I asked my mum to take Sophie and Lucas for a sleepover. She was delighted. She loves having them. She had no idea what was happening. Nobody did. At 7, Ethan and Alex showed up together. Seeing them walk up to my door as a pair made me want to vomit. They looked like a couple. They were standing close to each other. Alex's hand brushed Ethan's arm. I let them in. We sat in the living room, them on the sofa together, and me in the armchair across from them. It felt like a setup, like an intervention. But I was the one being intervened on. Thank you for agreeing to this, Ethan began. Just tell me what you want, I interrupted. Do you want a divorce, a custody arrangement? What? We don't want a divorce, Ethan replied. I stared at him. What? We've been talking, Alex explained. About everything. About what we want, about what's truly best for everyone. Especially Sophie and Lucas. And we have a proposal, Ethan continued. We know it's unconventional. We know it might sound crazy, but we're hoping you'll at least consider it." "Consider what?" They exchanged a look, some silent communication passing between them. "We want to all live together," Ethan declared. "The four of us? Well, the five of us. You, me, Alex, and the kids." I literally could not believe the words I was hearing. "You want what?" "Think about it." Alex quickly jumped in. "The kids wouldn't have to shuffle between two houses. We'd all be there for them, and you wouldn't have to manage everything alone. We'd share the responsibilities, share the parenting. It could actually be really good for them." "Are you completely out of your minds?" I said. My voice was louder than I intended. "You think I want to live with my husband and his boyfriend? You think I want to watch you two be in love while I'm just... what? The roommate? The third wheel in my own marriage?" "You wouldn't be a third wheel," Ethan insisted. "You'd be our family. We'd figure it out as a unit." This is insane. This is genuinely insane. You're asking me to simply accept that my husband is in love with someone else and live with it. Literally live with it. "We'd find a bigger house," Alex suggested, as if that were the main obstacle. "Somewhere with enough space for everyone to have privacy. Separate bedrooms. You wouldn't have to witness anything you don't want to see." "I don't want to see any of it," I shot back. "I don't want to see you holding hands in the kitchen or kissing goodnight or whatever couple stuff you do. I don't want to hear it through the walls. I don't want to know about it." "We understand this is difficult," Ethan said. "We know we are asking an enormous amount, but Sarah, I still care about you. You're still my family. You're still the mother of my children. I don't want to lose you completely. And the kids, they need both of us. They can have both of us in a normal custody arrangement," I argued. "Week on, week off, or weekends, like normal divorced parents." "But why should they have to endure that?" Alex asked. "Why should they have to pack bags and switch houses and feel like they're being torn between two homes? If we all lived together, they'd have stability, consistency, all three of their parents under one roof." "You're not their parent," I snapped at Alex. He flinched as if I'd physically struck him. "I know I'm not technically, but I love them as if they were mine. I've been in their lives since they were born. I want to keep being in their lives." "You should have considered that before you started sleeping with their father." We all sat in a loaded silence. I was trembling with fury, with disbelief, and with about 17 other emotions I couldn't even identify. "This is called polyamory," Ethan stated quietly. "It's a genuine thing. People do it. Families do it. It's just about love and respect and communication." "Love and respect," I repeated. "You're talking to me about respect after lying to me for a year." "You're right," he conceded. "We don't deserve your respect. We don't deserve your consideration, but we're asking for it anyway. For the kids." "Don't use the children as an excuse for this," I warned. "This isn't about the kids. This is about you two wanting to have your cake and eat it too. You want to be together, but you don't want to deal with the consequences. You don't want to explain to Sophie and Lucas why Daddy doesn't live with Mommy anymore. You don't want to split holidays and birthdays, so you're asking me to just go along with this nightmare so you don't have to deal with the hard stuff." "That's not true," Alex protested. "Isn't it? Be honest. This arrangement benefits you two far more than it benefits me." They had no rebuttal for that. "I need you to leave," I said. "Both of you. I can't do this right now." They departed. Ethan tried to hug me on his way out, but I took a step back. I couldn't let him touch me. I spent the entire weekend alone. Mum kept the kids until Sunday evening. I barely ate, hardly slept. Just sat there with this impossible decision. Because here's the thing. As insane as their proposal was, there was a tiny, treacherous part of me that could see it working. Not the romantic side. I could never, ever be okay with watching Ethan and Alex together. That would destroy me. But the practical side, the kids really would benefit from having all of us around. I wouldn't have to parent alone half the time. We could afford a much nicer place with 3 incomes. Sophie and Lucas wouldn't have to shuttle between houses. And there was this other factor I couldn't quite admit to myself yet. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to start my life over. I didn't want to be a divorced single mum at 32. I didn't want to split custody of my babies. I called Maria Sunday morning. "You're not seriously considering this?" she asked when I told her about their proposal. "I don't know," Maybe. Sarah, no. Absolutely not. This is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. You cannot agree to this. But what if it could work? What if it won't work? How could it possibly work? You'd be living with your cheating husband and the man he cheated with. You'd have to see them together every single day. That's torture. That's genuine psychological torture. But the kids will be fine, Maria said firmly. Kids adapt. They're resilient. You know what they won't be fine with? Growing up in a house full of tension and resentment and sadness. Because that's exactly what this would become. You think you can just switch off your feelings. You think you won't be devastated every time you see them look at each other. Every time they touch. Every time you realise your husband is in the next room with another person. She was right. Of course she was right. But I was so weary. Weary of crying. Weary of being angry. Weary of having to figure out what came next. What if I'm never going to find anyone else? I asked quietly. What if Ethan was it for me, and now I'm going to be alone forever? Then you'll be alone, Maria said gently. And that's okay. That's better than this. Sarah, you deserve so much more than being someone's backup plan. You deserve someone who chooses you first, who loves you the way you deserve to be loved. Ethan did love me. Past tense, he loved you. Now he loves Alex, and I'm sorry, but you can't build a life on past love. After I ended the call with her, I reached my decision. Monday. Morning, I texted Ethan, telling him my answer was no. I couldn't agree to what they were asking. We needed to proceed with the divorce and figure out a real custody arrangement. He called immediately. Sarah, please, just think about it a little longer. I have thought about it. The answer is no. What you're requesting is impossible. It's not impossible. There are entire communities of people who make this work. Well, I'm not those people. I'm just a regular person who married someone I thought loved me, and now I need to move forward with my life. I do love you. Stop saying that. If you love me, you wouldn't have done this. If you love me, you wouldn't be asking me to accept this. We could try therapy, he said desperately. The three of us with a counsellor who specialises in alternative families. There is no three of us, Ethan. There's you and Alex, and then there's me, separate. That is how it must be. I hung up before he could say anything else. The next few days were consumed with logistics, talking to a lawyer, reviewing my finances, trying to figure out how to tell the kids. But then, Wednesday afternoon, Alex showed up at my door. I can't do this, he said as soon as I opened it. His eyes were frantic. Sarah, I can't lose you. You're my best friend. You're my person. I need you in my life. You should have considered that before, I said, starting to close the door. He put his hand against it. Wait, please. I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. What? He took a deep breath. I've been in love with you since college. The world tilted again. What? I've been in love with you for 15 years, since we met freshman year. That's why I've been in your life all this time. That's why I never moved away or drifted apart like other college friends do, because I couldn't stand not seeing you. But you're gay. I'm not exactly gay, he said. I mean, I told everyone I was. I dated men exclusively. But the truth is, I'm bisexual. Or maybe queer. I don't know. Labels are confusing. But the point is, I've always been attracted to you. I've just never allowed myself to act on it because I knew you were straight. I knew you saw me as only a friend, so I suppressed those feelings and accepted being your best friend because that was infinitely better than nothing. I couldn't process this information. You're lying. You're just saying this to manipulate me into saying yes to your crazy plan. I'm not lying. Ask anyone from college. Ask Maria. She knew. I told her sophomore year when I got drunk at that party. I made her swear never to tell you. My mind was spinning. Maria never told me. All these years. Then why did you sleep with Ethan? I demanded. If you love me, why would you hurt me like that? Because I'm a coward, Alex said, his voice cracking. Because Ethan was available in a way you never were. Because I could have something real with him instead of just dreaming. About something I could never have with you. And yes, I know how selfish that sounds. I know I'm a terrible person. But Sarah, when I'm with Ethan, I'm also still close to you. I'm still in your life. If I have to choose between having Ethan or having you, I don't know if I can choose. That's not fair, I whispered. You can't tell me this now. You can't drop this on me after everything that's happened. I know, but I need you to understand. This arrangement we're proposing, it's not just about Ethan and me wanting to have everything. It's about me not being able to imagine a life where you're not in it. And maybe that makes me even more selfish. Maybe that makes this whole thing worse, but it's the truth. He left before I could respond. I immediately called Maria. Did you know Alex was in love with me? There was a long pause. He told you. So it's true. You knew, and you never told me. He made me promise. And Sarah, what good would it have accomplished? You were with Ethan. You were happy. Alex knew nothing could ever happen. I figured it was better to just let it be. Better for who? For everyone. For you. You had this wonderful friendship with him. Why ruin it by making things weird? Things are already weird, Maria. Things are the weirdest they've ever been. I hung up and just sat there. Everything I thought I knew about my life was incorrect. Ethan wasn't straight. Alex wasn't just my gay best friend. My entire understanding of my relationships was based on falsehoods. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Alex's confession, trying to remember if there were signs I'd completely missed. Moments that might have signified something different than I thought. Now that I was searching for them, there were so many. The way he always remembered my favourite things, my favourite coffee order, my favourite songs, the exact way I liked my birthday cake, the way he sometimes looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching, the way he always made himself available whenever I needed him. No matter what else was going on in his life, how had I been so blind? Thursday I asked my mum to watch the kids again. I needed time to think. I needed space to process everything. I drove out to the forest preserve where Ethan and I used to go hiking, found our favourite trail, and just walked. What if I agreed to their arrangement? Not because I was okay with it. I absolutely was not okay with it. I would probably never be okay with it. But what if I said yes anyway? The kids would have both their parents plus Alex, whom they already adored. We could afford a better life with 3 incomes. I wouldn't have to start dating or try to find someone new. I wouldn't have to explain to people that I was divorced before I even turned 35. And maybe there was this tiny possibility that having Alex around would help. Because if he truly had been in love with me all this time, and if he was choosing to be with Ethan instead, then maybe seeing me every day would remind him of what he was sacrificing. Maybe it would hurt him the way he'd hurt me. Was that petty? Yes, absolutely. But I was entitled to a little pettiness after what they'd done. Or maybe I was just attempting to rationalise a completely insane decision because I was too terrified to face being alone. I sat on a rock overlooking the valley and called Ethan. "I'll do it," I said when he answered. "I'll try your arrangement, but I have strict conditions." "Anything," he said immediately. "Whatever you need. First, we find a house with enough space that I can have my own area, my own bedroom, bathroom and a sitting room, or something completely separate from where you and Alex sleep. Done? Second, I do not want to see you two being affectionate. No kissing in common areas. No holding hands at the dinner table. Nothing. What you do in private is your business, but I don't want to witness it." Agreed. Third, we tell people we're trying an unconventional living arrangement for the kids' sake. We don't use words like polyamory or throuple or anything like that. We just say we're co-parenting in a modern way. Okay. Fourth, if this doesn't work, if I can't handle it, we end it immediately and proceed with a normal divorce. No guilt trips, no begging me to keep trying. Fair. And fifth, I said, my voice shaking, you both have to accept that I might never forgive you. I might be angry for a long time, and you can't hold that against me. We won't, Ethan vowed. Sarah, thank you. Thank you for even considering this. I know it's asking everything of you. Yeah, I said. It is. We found a house 2 weeks later. It was larger than what we'd been looking at before. 5 bedrooms, 2 main living areas, a big yard for the kids in a good school district. It was pricey, but with 3 incomes it was actually manageable. We moved in early November. We told the kids it was an adventure, that Uncle Alex was going to live with us now and help take care of them. They were thrilled. They loved Alex. Sophie asked why Daddy and I didn't share a room anymore. I told her grown-ups sometimes enjoy their own space. She accepted this easily, the way children do. The first few weeks were much harder than I had anticipated, and I'd expected it to be hard. Seeing Ethan and Alex together, even when they tried to be discreet, was sheer agony. The way they looked at each other. The way Ethan touched Alex's shoulder when he walked past. The way Alex made Ethan's coffee in the morning without being asked, knowing exactly how he liked it. All the small intimacies that I used to share with Ethan, that I thought were special. But apparently, they weren't special. They were just habits he could replicate with someone new. I spent a lot of time in my room, my sanctuary. I decorated it exactly how I wanted, got luxurious bedding, set up a reading nook, made it mine. But I couldn't hide forever. We had to figure out how to be a family, or whatever this was. We had family dinners, all 5 of us. Alex cooked most nights. He was always the best chef out of all of us. We discussed the kids' days at school, helped with homework, played board games. From an outsider's perspective, it probably looked almost normal, but it wasn't normal. Nothing about it was normal. I watched Ethan and Alex when they didn't think I was looking. Watched them be in love. Watched them be happy together. And something inside me fractured a little more each day. Maria called me every other day. "Are you okay?" she'd ask. "How's it going?" "It's fine," I'd lie. "We're making it work." "You don't sound fine." "I'm adjusting." "Sarah, you don't have to do this. You can still leave. You can still get divorced and have a normal life. This is my life now," I'd say. "I'm committed to making it work." But the truth was, I didn't know how much longer I could actually sustain this. Then December arrived, about a month after we'd all moved in together. We were decorating for Christmas, all of us in the living room. Sophie and Lucas were placing ornaments on the tree. Ethan and Alex were stringing lights. I was in the kitchen making hot chocolate. I watched them through the doorway. Ethan said something that made Alex genuinely laugh. A real, heartfelt laugh. Then Ethan kissed his cheek. They'd been so meticulous about not being affectionate in front of me. But in that moment, they forgot. They were just happy. And I lost control. I dropped the spoon I was holding. It clattered loudly against the counter. Everyone looked over. "I can't do this," I said, my voice shaking. "I can't. I tried. I truly tried, but I can't." "Sarah," Ethan started. "No, I'm done. This was a mistake, all of it. I can't live like this. I can't watch you two be happy together while I'm completely miserable in my own home. I'm contacting a lawyer after Christmas. We're getting divorced for real this time." I went to my room and locked the door. A few minutes later, there was a soft knock. "Sarah," it was Alex. "Can we talk?" "No. Please, just for a minute." I opened the door. He was alone. "I'm leaving," he announced. "What?" "I'm moving out. This isn't fair to you. We asked too much." I asked too much. I thought I could have everything. But I was wrong. "Where will you go?" "I'll find another apartment. It's fine. You and Ethan can sort out your marriage or your divorce or whatever you need. But you shouldn't have to live with me. That was selfish." "Does Ethan know you're saying this?" "Not yet, but he'll understand. He loves you, Sarah. He truly does. Maybe not the way he loves me, but he does love you, and you deserve better than this." "I thought you said you couldn't imagine a life where I wasn't in it," I reminded him. "I can't," he admitted quietly. "But I'll have to learn." He left my room. I heard him and Ethan talking in low voices downstairs. Heard Ethan's voice rise, in protest, then go quiet. I cried, not because I wanted Alex to stay, but because I was losing something I didn't even fully comprehend. Some hypothetical version of a family that might have existed in a different universe, where no one had lied, betrayed, and shattered everything. Christmas was awkward. We all pretended to be festive for the kids. Alex was still there because he hadn't found a place yet. We did presents and Christmas dinner and everything we were supposed to do. But there was this heaviness in the house, this awareness that it was all coming to an end. The day after Christmas, Ethan came to my room. "We need to talk," he said. "Okay." We sat on my bed, the same bed that used to be in our master bedroom when we were just a married couple with a regular life. "I don't want a divorce," Ethan stated. "Ethan, we can't keep doing this, not this arrangement. I agree this isn't working, but I don't want to lose you. I don't want to split our family. I don't understand what you're suggesting. Alex is moving out. He found a place. He's leaving next week. And I think he should go. This 3-person thing was a mistake. But Sarah, what if it was just us again? You and me and the kids? You and me? What about Alex? I'd still see him, but not here. Not in your home. We'd work something out. Maybe he visits sometimes when you're not around, or I meet him elsewhere. I don't know. We haven't figured out the specifics, but the point is, you wouldn't have to see it. Wouldn't have to live with it. I stared at him. So you want to keep having an affair with Alex, just not under my roof? I wouldn't call it an affair if you know about it. What would you call it then? An open marriage? You've got to be kidding me. Sarah, please just consider it. You'd have your husband back, your family back. Everything would return to normal. I'd just also have Alex in my life separately. That's not normal, Ethan. That's you having a boyfriend while staying married to me. Yes, that's exactly what it is. But would that be worse than getting divorced? Worse than the kids going back and forth between two houses? I couldn't believe we were actually having this discussion. I need time, I said. I need to think. Take all the time you need. But here's what I realised over the next few days. I'd already made my decision back when I agreed to the 3-person household. I'd already decided that keeping my family together, or some recognisable version of it, was more important than my pride or my dignity or what I thought marriage was supposed to be. So, what was the real difference between having Alex live with us and having Ethan see him elsewhere? At least if Ethan was seeing him elsewhere, I wouldn't have to watch. Wouldn't have to know the details. Maybe that was pathetic. Maybe I was being a doormat. Maybe I was accepting crumbs when I deserved the whole meal. But I was tired of fighting. Tired of being angry. Tired of imagining what my life would look like as a divorced single mum. So, I said yes. Alex moved out right after New Year's. He took his furniture and his clothes and vanished from my daily life. Ethan and I settled into a new routine. He slept in the master bedroom. I kept my separate room. We co-parented the kids, had family dinners, went to school events together, and once a week, sometimes twice, Ethan would say he was going to the gym or meeting friends. And I knew he was with Alex. I didn't ask questions, didn't want details, just pretended those hours didn't exist. We were like roommates who happened to be married, who happened to share children, who happened to have this secret arrangement that nobody else knew about. We told everyone Alex moved out because the 3-person household was too crowded. People accepted this. Nobody suspected anything else. From the outside, Ethan and I looked like a normal married couple going through a rough patch but trying to make it work. And in a way, I guess we were. Months passed. February, March, April. Sophie's 8th birthday arrived. We threw her a party. Alex came. It was the first time I'd seen him since he moved out. He brought her a beautiful gift, a necklace with her birthstone. She loved it. He and I barely spoke, just polite small talk. How's work? How's your new place? Fine. Fine. Everything's fine. Ethan and Alex didn't show any affection at the party. They stayed on opposite sides of the yard most of the time, playing their roles. After all the guests left and Alex was leaving too, he pulled me aside. I miss you, he said. Don't, I replied. I know I don't have the right to miss you. I know I ruined everything, but it's true. I miss my best friend. That person doesn't exist anymore. Alex, I need to go help clean up. I walked away before he could say anything else. That night after the kids were in bed, Ethan came to my room. This isn't working either, is it? He said. I looked at him, truly looked at him. This man I'd loved for 12 years, who I'd built a life with, who I thought I'd grow old with. No, I said. It's not. What do we do? I didn't know. We sat there in silence. 2 people who used to be everything to each other, now just sitting in a room, trying to figure out how we ended up here. Do you hate me? Ethan asked. Sometimes, I admitted. But mostly I just feel sad. Sad about what we used to be. Sad about what we could have been. I'm sorry for all of it. For not being honest with myself sooner. For bringing you into this mess. Me too, I said. I'm sorry too. For what? For not being enough to make you happy. Sarah, you were enough. You are enough. This has nothing to do with you being enough. Then what does it have to do with? It has to do with me figuring out who I am. And I know that's not your burden to carry. I know you didn't sign up for this, but I don't regret loving you. I don't regret our life together. Even if it ends up being temporary, it feels like it already ended. I said, like we've been living in the ghost of our marriage for months. He didn't disagree. Maybe we should tell the kids, he said, about separating for real, about moving forward with a divorce, maybe. But we didn't. Not that week, not the next week. We just kept existing in this strange limbo. Then, in May, something happened that altered everything. I met someone. His name was Evan. He was a parent at Sophie's school, a single dad with a daughter in her class. We'd served on a few PTA committees together, but never really talked much beyond logistics. Then one evening at a school fundraiser, we ended up sitting next to each other. We started chatting, genuinely chatting about our kids, about work, about life. He made me laugh, actually laugh, something I hadn't done in what felt like an eternity. At the end of the night, he asked if I wanted to get coffee sometime. I said yes. We got coffee that weekend while the kids were at activities. We talked for 3 hours. He told me about his divorce 2 years ago, how hard it was to rebuild his life, how he was still navigating single parenting. I told him a carefully edited version of my story, that Ethan and I were separated, that we were living together for the kids but figuring out next steps. That must be really hard, Evan said. It is, but you seem like you're handling it well. I laughed. I'm really not, I'm kind of a mess. Aren't we all? He said, smiling. We got coffee again the next week, and the week after that. I didn't tell Ethan, didn't tell anyone except Maria, who was ecstatic. Finally, she said, you're prioritising yourself. It's just coffee. It's not a huge deal. It's a huge deal. You're taking a step toward having your own life again, toward finding someone who will choose you first. I wanted to believe that was possible. Evan and I kept seeing each other. Coffee turned into lunch. Lunch turned into dinner. Always when the kids were busy, always in this separate world from my real life. One night in June, after dinner at an Italian restaurant, Evan walked me to my car. I really like you, Sarah, he said. I like you too. Can I kiss you? I hadn't kissed anyone except Ethan in over a decade. Hadn't even considered kissing someone else. But I said yes. And when Evan kissed me, it felt like coming up for air after being submerged for too long. We stood there in the parking lot, kissing like teenagers, until we both started giggling at how ridiculous we probably looked. I should go, I said. When can I see you again? Soon. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months, maybe years. Ethan was in the kitchen when I got home, making tea. You are home late, he commented. I had dinner with a friend. Which friend? Maria, I lied. He looked at me for a long moment. You seem different. Different how? I don't know. Happier. I didn't know how to respond to that. Over the next few weeks, Evan and I kept seeing each other. It was becoming harder to conceal, harder to keep making excuses for where I was. Maria told me I needed to simply tell Ethan that I had every right to date other people, that we were essentially separated anyway. She was right, but I was afraid of the confrontation, afraid of what it would truly mean. Finally, in early July, Ethan found out. One of his colleagues saw me with Evan at a restaurant, mentioned it casually, asked if that was my brother or something. Ethan came home that night and went directly to my room. Who is he? He demanded. My heart sank. Who is who? The guy you've been seeing. Leo from work saw you two together. Don't lie to me. His name is Evan. He's a parent from Sophie's school. How long? Since May, just coffee and dinner. Nothing serious. Are you sleeping with him? No, we've just been talking, getting to know each other. Ethan sat down on my bed. He looked completely devastated. You're leaving me, he said. Ethan, you left me 1.5 years ago when you started seeing Alex. I've just been trying to cling to something that was already gone. But I thought we were trying to make this work. We are, but what does making it work even mean? You have Alex. Why shouldn't I have someone too? That's different. How is it different? Because you're my wife. I laughed, a genuine laugh this time. I'm your wife on paper, but Ethan, I haven't felt like your wife in a very long time. You made a choice. Now I'm making one too. Do you love him? I barely know him, but I like him. And he makes me feel like maybe I'm worth something. Like maybe I'm not just someone who gets left behind while the people I love choose each other. Ethan started crying. I never wanted to lose you. You already lost me. We sat there for a while, both of us finally understanding that this was truly the end. We should tell the kids, I said. For real this time. We should separate properly, get the divorce, figure out a real custody arrangement. What about Evan? Is he going to be around them? Not yet. Maybe never. I don't know. But Ethan, you don't get to decide that. You lost that right when you decided Alex was more important. He nodded. He knew I was right. We told Sophie and Lucas the next day. We sat them down together in the living room. We have something we need to tell you guys, Ethan began. They both looked instantly worried. Kids can sense when something's wrong. Daddy and I are getting divorced, I said gently. We're going to live in separate houses. You'll spend time with both of us, just in different places. Sophie's eyes welled up with tears. But I don't want you to get divorced. I know, sweetie. We don't want this either, but sometimes grown-ups realise they're better as friends than as married people. Is it because of Uncle Alex? Lucas asked. Ethan and I looked at each other in shock. What do you mean, buddy? Ethan asked. I heard you and Mommy arguing about Uncle Alex a long time ago, before he moved in with us. I heard Mommy say his name and you were both crying. Kids hear everything. Of course, he'd overheard something. Uncle Alex and I are very good friends, Ethan said carefully. And sometimes that was confusing for Mommy and me. But this isn't about him. This is about your mom and me realising we want different things in life. It wasn't the entire truth, but it was enough truth for an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. They asked questions. We answered them as honestly as we could, told them they'd have 2 homes but would always have both their parents, that we loved them more than anything, that none of this was their fault. By the end of the conversation, they weren't happy, but they seemed to understand. Ethan moved out 2 weeks later, found a nice apartment nearby. We established a week-on, week-off schedule for the kids. The house felt empty without him, but it also felt like mine again. Maria helped me pack up all of Ethan's remaining things, all the photos of us that were still on walls and shelves. How are you feeling? She asked. I don't know. Sad, relieved, scared, everything. That's normal. Is it? I feel like I should be more upset, like I should be devastated, but mostly I just feel free. That's okay too. Evan and I kept seeing each other, slowly, carefully. He met the kids in August at a park play date with his daughter. They got along well. Sophie especially liked him. I didn't introduce him as my boyfriend, just as a friend. But Sophie is smart. She figured it out eventually. Do you love Evan? She asked me one night at bedtime. I don't know yet, but I like him a lot. More than you love Daddy? I love Daddy very much, but sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes people need different things. Does Daddy love Uncle Alex more than he loved you? I wasn't expecting that question. I paused for a minute about how to answer. I think Daddy loves Uncle Alex in a different way than he loved me. Not more or less, just different. Oh, she said then. I think Uncle Alex was sad when he moved out. Why do you think that? Because he looked at you like he was sad. At my birthday party. My sweet, observant daughter, missing absolutely nothing. The divorce was finalised in October, almost 2 full years after that first night when everything imploded. Ethan and I split everything as fairly as possible. He kept his car, I kept mine. We sold the big house we'd gotten for the 3-person arrangement and split the proceeds. He got his own place. I got my own place. Different neighbourhoods, but still close enough for the kids. Alex came to the final mediation meeting. I'd asked him to. There were some things I needed to say. We met at a coffee shop, just the 2 of us. Thank you for coming, I said. Of course. What did you want to talk about? I wanted to tell you that I forgive you. He looked genuinely shocked. What? I forgive you. Both of you. For all of it. The lying, the affair, the impossible situation you put me in. I forgive it. Sarah, I don't understand. I spent 2 years being angry, being hurt, feeling betrayed. And I had every right to feel those things. But I'm tired of carrying it around. I'm tired of letting what you did define my whole life. So I'm choosing to forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Alex started crying. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know, I miss being your friend, he said. Is that something we could ever have again? Maybe not now, but maybe someday. I need more time. I understand. Are you happy? I asked. With Ethan? He nodded. Yeah, I am. I wish it hadn't happened this way. I wish I hadn't hurt you, but yes, I'm happy. Good, I'm glad. I truly was. Somewhere along the way, I'd stopped wishing they'd be miserable. Stopped hoping karma would punish them. I just wanted everyone to be okay, including me. Are you happy? He asked. With Evan? Getting there, I said. Taking it slow, but yeah, I think I could be. We sat there for a while longer, two people who used to be best friends, navigating our way to something new, something neither of us could quite name yet. When I got home that night, Evan was waiting on my front porch. I'd given him a key a few weeks earlier. Hi, he said, standing up when he saw me. I hope it's okay I came by. I know you said you were meeting Alex and might need space after. It's more than okay, I said. He hugged me, just held me there on my front porch while the sun set. How did it go? He asked. Better than expected. I told him I forgave him. That must have been hard. It was, but it also felt right, like I was releasing something I'd been holding on to for too long. We went inside, prepared dinner together, talked about our days. This was my life now. Smaller than it had been, different than I'd planned, but entirely mine. The kids adjusted better than I expected. They liked having two homes, two sets of toys, two different routines. Ethan was a good dad when it was his week, present and attentive in a way he hadn't always been during our marriage. He and Alex were living together now, had been since right after the divorce was final. The kids visited them sometimes during Ethan's weeks. They still loved Uncle Alex, still treated him like family. I made peace with that, with them having a relationship with him. It wasn't their fault what happened between us adults. Evan met Ethan eventually at a school event we all attended. They were cordial, polite, two men with nothing in common except caring about the same woman. Ethan pulled me aside at one point. He seems nice, he said. He is. Are you in love with him? I thought about that question, about what love even meant anymore after everything I'd endured. I think I might be, I said. But I'm being careful, taking my time. I'm not rushing into anything. That's smart, Ethan said. Then I'm happy for you, Sarah. I know that sounds hollow coming from me, but it's true. You deserve to be happy. So do you. And that was the truth. Despite everything, despite all the pain and betrayal and complications, I wanted Ethan to be happy. I wanted Alex to be happy. I wanted my kids to be happy. And for the first time in 2 years, I wanted me to be happy too. Not someday, not eventually, but now. That night, after the kids were asleep at Ethan's place for his week, Evan and I sat on my couch watching a movie. Can I ask you something? He said. Sure. Do you think you'll ever trust someone completely again? After what happened? I thought about it. I don't know. Maybe not the way I trusted Ethan before, but I think I can trust differently. Trust while also keeping a part of myself separate. Trust while knowing that people can still surprise you. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. What about you, after your divorce? Same. I think my ex broke something in me, but maybe broken things can be put back together. They'll never be exactly the same, but they can still be whole. We kissed then, slowly, sweetly, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. Hope. Not hope that everything would be perfect. Not hope that I'd found my soulmate or my forever person or any of those fairy tale concepts. Just hope that tomorrow would be a little better than today. That I was building something new on the ruins of what I'd lost. That my story wasn't over. It was just a different story than the one I'd planned. And maybe, possibly it could still have a happy ending. That wraps up today's Reddit story. Thanks for hanging out with me while we went through all that family drama, betrayal, and unexpected love. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Sarah's final choice, and stick around for more stories with the usual Minecraft vibes in the background. I'll see you in the next one.